You were selected during the last recruitment drive. What was it like for you?
It was like running a marathon because the selection took, I think, over a year, almost a year, day to day, and it was not a daily activity, obviously, but from one round to the next, it could be a month. But it was really like a long haul exercise. It was very exciting too. Not very stressful at the beginning because there were so many applicants that the chances were slim. But as you got closer to the end, then the pressure increased. But that was very exciting at the time.
And what's the ideal candidate right now in this recruitment drive?
Oh, I think it's a good question. I think there's no ideal candidate, but three. I think there are three different traits we look in people's applications, people's CV. You have to be operational. You have to have had a job in which decisions matter, like you being a pilot on when you're a scientist on an oil rig or studying volcanoes, something like this. Go out in the field. You have to have some academic background as well, because we live in a very technical world at the European Space Agency, and I think you need to be international. You need to have lived abroad, worked abroad. You need to speak foreign languages because today, I mean, we're working at a European level, but we're also working with NASA, with our Russian colleagues, Japanese colleagues, and in the future, probably with China and India. So you have to be very worldly.
And I saw that English was a requirement. I want to ask you, why is the cutoff age 37? Because a lot of people decide to switch careers later on in life.
Yeah, I'm not sure we have a very strict cutoff age this time. I think we're gonna look at every candidacy. We're gonna really weigh the pros and cons, and then we'll pick the best people we can. I don't think we're particularly set on one criteria or the other. There's some guidelines, but we want the best people, and we'll look at every application.
Talk us through how intense the training process is.
It is pretty intense. I mean, being an astronaut is like going back to school pretty much for the rest of your life, which sounds funny initially, but over the years, sometimes it's not that easy to do. There's different stages in an astronaut's career. The very first stage, which we call basic training, it's really bringing people together from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different levels of knowledge, and really building up all those skills and all this knowledge that we need for astronauts, learning Russian, doing a lot of physical training, doing survival training, studying science and technology in the human spaceflight domain. And then once you graduate from this basic training, you can be assigned to a mission. Once you're assigned to a mission, then there's a much more specific training that starts, based on which spacecraft are you going to fly? What's the destination? Today it's the ISS, the space station. Tomorrow could be the moon or Mars. And what are you going to do? Are you going to do spacewalks? Are you going to do research? So you start focusing on this, and there's a lot to learn to be able to do a good job in space. And in between missions, then you have a job usually on the ground. You try to contribute to the projects of the agency, and you're still doing some training, learning new things, and maintaining your skills. So it's a lot of time learning and being evaluated.
Thomas, the applications open at the end of March, yet you're going to select all the candidates in October 2022. Why so long?
Oh, because we expect quite a number of people. Last time we had, I think, a bit over 10,000 applicants. And just the time needed to test and to evaluate all those people is a lot. And obviously it goes faster as you have less candidates remaining in the process towards the end. But at the very beginning, it takes a lot of time to have those people go through, psychological tests and things like this, and the initial screening and medical tests. So that's why it's going to take a while, but we hope to have the best people at the end. So we want to take our time and do the right thing.
Is it financially attractive to become an astronaut? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay. I'm happy. I didn't do it for the money. I think the best answer to that question is if you're doing it for the money, it's not the right job. There's a million jobs making better money than being an astronaut. It's a little bit like being in the military as far as salary.
Really, that's interesting. I never thought that. Now, let's talk about diversity, because improving diversity seems to be an important factor for the European Space Agency. How important is it for you, given that just 65 out of 560 people that have gone to space are women? It's a small percentage.
Yeah, I know it's wrong on at so many levels, but I think it starts with applying to the selection. For our selection we had one woman out of six astronauts, which is roughly 15%. But if you look at the applicants, we had roughly 15%, 15 women applicants. So we want to start with increasing this drastically. We want women, girls to apply because we know they're qualified. So. And once we do this, then hopefully we get 50% women and men for that selection. NASA did it a few years back, and that astronaut class has been doing splendidly in space and on the ground. So we want to do the same. I hope we can achieve it, but I can't encourage women enough to apply because it's a great career for women as well.
And finally, Thomas, very quickly, tell us about your next mission with SpaceX.
So my next mission is approaching. Launch is approaching really fast. It's going to be end of April, 20th of April for now. Could change a bit, but we're getting ready. I mean, COVID obviously was a challenge for us, as for millions and millions of people around the world. But we're on track to launch on time. It's going to be 6 months on board the International Space Station. A lot of research and also preparing the next steps of human exploration is because of those missions. Thanks to those missions on board the ISS that we'll be able tomorrow to go to the moon and Mars. So I'm very, very excited. And it's going to be also quite interesting to live without a mask and without social distancing for 6 months on board the ISS.
It sounds like a dream to me.